Hello, what is up, YouTube and G3 fam? So first off, was browsing around today on Reddit and on the forums and came across this wonderful post by Noclearmind. So we're just going to jump in, and pretty much the tease, the clickbait title for this is absolutely true. There is a way to make this build 0 damage taken without the use of Immortal Call or Legacy Uniques with numbers that are no longer regularly available in the game. So Noclearmind walks us through it. I'm going to walk through this really quick, show off a little bit of his build video that features and that shows. In fact, let's just do that right now. Before we get into all the mechanics of everything, let's just look at this. So this is him in his build going in to fight the Minotaur. So this is a tier 16 boss. So this is tier 16. All right, take a look. He's fighting a tier 16 boss. Here's his energy shield down here in the bottom left. You can see it. He's got 651 energy shield, 1 life, and he takes 0 damage. His mana reserved is all of it. And you can see his flask setup is very specific. And you can see his purity setup here at the top. Very specific. But he's just sitting here face tanking the Minotaur. Now, it takes him 9 minutes to kill the Minotaur because, of course, he hasn't scaled any damage. But we're going to take a look at exactly what that is. So he says here in his intro, my goal is to show that this character is damage immune with 100% uptime without the use of Immortal Call. This has been done in the guide of Hanabito, so credit to Hanabito, or any Legacy Uniques. He says, my character is only level 72. This is a level 72 Pathfinder that's taking on the Minotaur. Okay, taking no damage. Whew, play smarter, not harder. That's like the lesson here. Okay, so he says, my character is only level 72, and you can spend all the other points into damage. Therefore, the damage is not great yet, but the proof of concept is here. This character is a Pathfinder since no other ascendancy can get 50% flask effectiveness and 100% flask uptime. This is my first build guide, and English is not my native language. Feedback is welcome. Please note, I just found out by trying to capture a video for Uber Elder that, of course, his siphoning attack is a Phys degen, so he gives this warning, like, hey, if you build this, there's one thing in the game that can take this out, and it's the Shaper because he has a Phys degen, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so here's his videos. He says, since I'm leaving for the holidays, I can't upload many videos. However, here's the video of me at level 72 fighting the Minotaur. This is what he looks like fighting against regular mobs, which I got a kick out of this earlier. This is pretty great. This is tier 16. I want to say that's Vald and Corrupted. Yeah, it is. Area is Corrupted there on the right-hand side. And he's got, of course, he's got Beyonders. The prophecy for Beyonders right here. Look at this. He takes no damage. Right now, of course, you're going to go, well, if he ever did take damage, he'd die because he has no HP and no mitigation. Okay, fine, but all of his defenses here are mitigation. So anyway, so how does it work? Okay, so a couple steps. Step 1, use items to take all physical damage as elemental damage. Step 2, get 100% max elemental resistances with 100% flask uptime. Step 3, take Chaos Inoculation for 100% chaos resistance. So the items that are needed for this are Taste of Hate. The key thing here is that you get 20% of your physical damage from hits taken as cold damage during the flask effect. And because of the Pathfinder Ascendancy and flask effect bonuses, that's actually going to be 30%. Over here, he's using a Necromancer Helm that gives 10% of physical damage from hits taken as cold damage. Here he's using a 6-link Lightning Coil, which is 30% of physical damage from hits taken as lightning damage. He's using a Corrupted Saffrol's Frame, which gives him 8% of physical damage from hits taken as lightning damage. Then he's also using a Watcher's Eye Prismatic Jewel, which gives him 12% of physical damage from hits taken as cold damage while affected by Purity of Elements, which of course he's going to be running, and then also 10% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage while affected by Purity of Fire. So he calcs it all right here. Taste of Hate is 30% due to the 54% increased flask effectiveness. Lightning Coil is 30%, Helmet 10%, Corrupted Shield 8%, and then the Watcher's Eye is 22%. That equals 100% elemental resistance, or 100% physical conversion to elemental damage. Like every single physical hit you ever take is 100% being converted into elemental, and then because of his flask setup, he's going to have 100% max elemental resistances. So he's using a Ruby Flask of Heat that gives him plus 6% to maximum fire, a Topaz plus 6 to maximum lightning, a Divination Distillate because while he's using that, he's going to get plus 4% to all maximum elemental resistances during the flask effect. So while that flask effect is going on, he's got plus 4 to his maxes. So that's already plus 10% between each of the unique or each of the individual flasks that are plus 6 to their max. So you're already looking at 85% right away, just flat for your max elemental resistances. For cold, it's going to be uniquely boosted up to 30 instead of 20. And then he's also using the Overflowing Chalice, which gives him 100% increased charge recovery and 20% increased duration. And it gains no charges during effect of any Overflowing Chalice flask, but it's got 100% increased charges gained by other flasks during the flask effect. So whenever you need to recharge any of your other stuff, you see him just popping the Overflowing Chalice, and the rest of his flasks are going to flow. Flasks make up a total of 15% max resistance, so you're going from 75 all the way up to 90. Then due to the 54% increased flask effectiveness, the Topaz, Ruby, and Sapphire give us 9% max res. The Divination Distillate gives us 6%. The Overflowing Chalice is there to guarantee 100% flask uptime for when you get unlucky with your crits. In order to have 100% uptime on Divination Distillate, one needs to drain their mana. While Chaos Inoculation, this can be hard, but with the new Omeacon boots, we can achieve that. Then using a Soul Taker, we can still manage to attack. So on the Omeacon, you see right here that he's got lose 7% of maximum mana per second, just like straight up. You're just losing your mana per second, straight up. Then over here on the Soul Taker, your physical or insufficient mana doesn't prevent your melee attack. So you can constantly be mana attacking even though you don't have any mana. All right, then he says right here, if you're wondering how that interaction works, by the way, like when you're wondering, hey, he's got 0 mana over here available for his pool, it doesn't matter. The Omeacon, the text on it says lose 7% of maximum mana per second. So that's why he's always constantly losing mana. So that's why as long as the Divination can roll, it is rolling as long as it's active. Because you're just constantly losing your mana. The game at least is saying, hey, you're in a state of losing mana even though you don't have a mana pool to lose. To be honest, I've not done the exact math behind the flash charges gained and reduced stuff, but I know that it works. Might not work in a minus 50% flash charges gained map though. So the things that I use to increase my flask uptime are taking all flask nodes on the passive tree, in particular Arcane Chemistry, Primal Spirit, Druidic Rite, Alchemist, Pathfinder Ascendancy, and this belt which gives him 18% reduced flash charges used and 20% increased flash charge duration. That's pretty awesome. Although other than that, it's a pile of crap for a belt. But amazingly, he doesn't really need all those other resistances, etc., because he's getting that from his purities and everything else. So like you look at this belt and you just go, oh, what a pile of crap. But this guy's actually done an amazing thing to combine all of these different pieces in order to give him essentially perfect defenses. Then he's using a Voidbringer, which are some Conjurer gloves. You'll notice that they've got Corrupted on them, +2 to level of socketed AoE gems. So that way all of his various purities can fit inside here. And so he's showing those off here. He says this gives our purities level 23, meaning they provide +5 to max resistance with 20% in increased aura effectiveness that becomes 6% max resistances. Then he's got the shield, the Saffrel's Flame, which is pretty awesome. If you look at it, it gives you his shield right here is 8% of physical damage from hits taken as lightning damage. So again, that conversion. Then for flask effectiveness to go from 46 to 54, you need the Conqueror's Potency, which does give you increased effective flasks on you. And then obviously the CI keystone for chaos resistance. So there you go. Here's his full gear and his path of building right here. I mean, this is just like, this is a really, really cool build. A bunch of people are already saying, hey, this is awesome. Yeah, I actually even went in and commented on this and say, hey, this is a great reason like to keep characters on standard, because you can always try this sort of stuff on standard. If you want to try something right away, but you didn't want to have to level up a Pathfinder, if you just keep your characters from every league and you don't delete them until at least you're at your max cap number of characters, it's great that you can just go back over into standard and test stuff out and have fun with it. So anyway, so there you go. Noclearmind, 0 damage taken without Immortal Call or Legacy Uniques build, which is fun. And at level 72, you can face tank the Minotaur with taking 0 damage. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you're don't let your memes be dreams. Go out and theory craft your own build. This guy did it with, of course, credit to Hanabito, who did it first, or at least in an iteration before Noclearmind did it. So anyway, all credit where credit is due, and this is just awesome. It's awesome to watch this, like as he's just sitting there face tanking the Minotaur. Again, he's only level 72. Imagine once he hits like level 80 or 90, he's got 18 more passive points to dump into damage. So maybe he'll get some sockets and just some flat damage. Anyway, that's pretty awesome. Have a great rest of your day, YouTube.